Right, buddy, Michael here. Today, I want to expose Laila Cunningham's hypocrisy and expose how she is the real fascist. Let's go. Okay, so recently, Laila Cunningham has come out and insulted Rupert Lowe and essentially called him a ethno-nationalist and a neo-Nazi sympathiser. And we all know that Rupert Lowe is neither. Now, I do accept that there are some people trying to attach themselves to Restore who are actual neo-Nazis, and I've had my own personal disagreements with them online myself. So nobody who supports Restore or in Restore is a neo-Nazi sympathiser. And as a supporter of Restore, I disavow neo-Nazism in its entirety. But I found it ironic that Laila Cunningham would accuse Rupert Lowe and Restore of being essentially a fascist party, when Laila Cunningham is a Muslim, and Islam is essentially a fascist ideology. And Reform, for some reason, they're kowtowing to Muslims. They've got Laila Cunningham, Zia Yusuf, who's the party chairman. So two of the major roles in Reform will be the Mayor of London and the deputy leader, the guy who owns the equal stake in the party, and potentially the next leader if Farage decides to leave. They are Muslim. And for anyone who actually understands Islam, Islam is not really a religion. Islam is more of a political ideology, and it is actually very fascistic in nature, because you have to follow the tenets of Sharia law. And if you go to any Muslim country, you'll understand that these are basically fascistic in nature. You know, look at how they treat homosexuals. There's no proselytizing of Christianity. So Muslims come to our country, spend all day going on about Islam in the streets and trying to convert people. But under Islamic law, Sharia law, this would not be allowed. There's no proselytizing of non-Islamic beliefs. And in some Muslim countries, like Afghanistan, have just lowered the age of consent to like 8 or whatever it is. They've made it acceptable to beat your wife. So this is not an ideology compatible with English and British values. And when I say British values, I mean English, Welsh, Scottish and Irish. And I've done a video on this before, asking Zia Yusuf, and I would ask Laila Cunningham and Zia Yusuf to clarify, are you practicing Muslims? If so, do you believe that Prophet Muhammad was a perfect example for all of humanity, given the fact that he married a 6-year-old and he partook in multiple wars where he killed a load of innocent people? And do you believe that at the end times, the Muslims will murder and kill all the Jews? You know, do you believe that you should not take non-believers as friends? Because if you are practicing Muslim, you have to believe all these things. So either you're a practicing Muslim and you are the real fascist, or you need to come out and disavow Islam if you don't believe in these values. It's one or the other. You don't get to float in between and deceive people. You're either a dumb, naive, liberal type person, or you're practicing taqiyya. And this is why I say no Muslims should be anywhere near any positions of power in our country, because they are essentially fascist. And their loyalty above everything else is to the Ummah. And their goal is an Islamic caliphate, because if you're a Muslim, you have to believe that. And if you're a practicing Muslim, you want Britain to be an Islamic country under Sharia law, which is fascism. So you're accusing Rupert Lowe of being a fascist when you are the fascist. And I would like Reform, Zia Yusuf, Laila Cunningham, Nigel Farage to come out and disavow the fascist tendencies of Islam and show us that there is no Islam in the party. And if Laila Cunningham and Zia Yusuf are practicing Muslims, then Nigel Farage needs to kick them out of the party, because they are essentially fascist. If Nigel Farage is so against fascism, he accuses everybody. You know, Tommy Robinson's a fascist. Rupert Lowe is a fascist. If he's so against fascism, then I want to see him kick Laila Cunningham and Zia Yusuf out of Reform. And if he did it, he would actually get my vote. If Farage come out and said, you know what, we don't want fascists in our party, I'm going to kick out Cunningham, Zia Yusuf, and I disavow Islam as a fascist ideology, he would get my vote. But we all know that's not going to happen, because Farage, I believe, is just completely naive. A lot of people don't understand Islam. They just think, oh, it's just a religion, you know, peace and love, all that stuff. They don't realize that it is a fascist political ideology, not really a religion. And mosques aren't places of worship. They're places of political dominance. This is why they want to have voting in mosques, because their goal is to take over. They do it in every country. They've done it in Myanmar. They've done it wherever they go, because it is a political ideology, not a religious concept. You don't see this happening with the Hindus. You don't see it happening with the Hare Krishna. You don't see this happening with the Buddhists, because they're interested in spirituality, not politics. Whereas Islam is a political ideology and it must be stopped. It has no place in Britain and it needs to be removed ruthlessly. And this is why they're scared of Rupert Lowe, because Rupert Lowe is not having any of their nonsense. Okay, so that's the point of my video today, just to expose the hypocrisy of Laila Cunningham and reform, and say that we need to remove Islam and its fascist tendencies. If you like what I'm talking about, subscribe if you're new, like it if you're liking the video, share it with as many people as possible, and God bless everybody today. Goodbye.